Welcome to Fun with Fractions. My name is Lyle Reingold, and today we are going to be exploring the world of compound fractions.
I love you, Lyle.
Let's begin, shall we?
Let's begin. What are non-denominational fractions?
Well, let's start. Let's reel it back just a second. You got your denominators.
And what else do we have? Common denominators.
And your numerators.
And your numerators.
And you have your numerators. And numerators are where?
They're
on the bottom.
They're in Numenor.
No.
I don't remember.
The numerators are on the top. The denominators below.
Like-
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Oh my god. We apologize. That escalated quickly.
Welcome.
Welcome to our podcast. This is episode number 11.
11.
111.
1.
1111.
And 1. And 1. And 1.
We have some news. We are progressing on our film called River of Fear. Once again, we were talking about it a little bit last week. We did some location scouting. We have a date set for casting here in a couple weeks. But we also have a Facebook page made, and you guys can find it. I think it's just facebook.com/River of Fear. I think it's River of Fear Film. I think I tried to use River of Fear, but it was taken.
Okay.
A lot of scary rivers out there, man.
A lot of scary ones. So
A lot of fear-invoking rivers.
yeah, it's fine.
Understandable.
But yeah, River of Fear Film. Facebook.com/River of Fear Film. And yeah, you can see we're put some location scouting photos up. We're just trying to kind of put it out there. So as we go on throughout the film, we get the progress going.
Strike.
Exactly. So you guys can kind of check that out, follow us, and keep updated on the progress of our film. We'll probably start shooting in like July, but June's going to be a lot of pre-production stuff, a lot of casting.
Casting in 2 weeks. Although by the time you see this, casting will probably be over.
That's true. Yeah. So we're always like a week or so behind.
Yeah.
But
Or ahead.
We're ahead. So so keep your eyes out for that. Go check it out if you want to. If you don't have a computer, then you probably live in a place.
How are you watching this anyway?
How are you watching
You
this?
probably live in Mississippi somewhere.
Yeah. In a.
Just kidding.
But a few more notes on River of Fear. Yeah, we do a little more planning every day. We have production meetings a few times a week. It's looking like we don't have quite the solid schedule yet, but we have casting schedule for that down.
When's the absolute deadline for the film?
The film is going to the film has to be finished, completed, submitted to Access Sacramento by September 8th.
So you will see it on or around that time.
No, you won't.
No, you won't.
You won't actually see it.
Don't listen to Mark.
You will not see that on or around that
It's
time.
premiering October 8th at the historic Crest Theater in downtown Sac. October 4th.
And then it will go online.
And then it will go online. Also, you can see it on TV.
Yeah,
But
it'll
it's
be on
looking-
Access Sacramento.
We've broken it down so far, just trying to pull things together. It looks like it might be kind of one of the longest shoots we've done, or at least the most extensive one, which is
Yeah.
actually a good thing because we want to give ourselves actual time to film.
Allow
to
time?
film it. We tried to film Civil War story in 2 days, 20 pages. That was a nightmare. This is
Yeah.
going to be a 10-page script, and we might film it over the course of 8 days.
About 5 to 8 days.
5 to 8 days, depending on how much we want to push it. We could do half days
Yeah.
and search out to 8, which would be kind of nice. Or we could, shotgun this beer and do 5 days. But I mean,
But the reason it's
We'll
just going to be a little more tricky is just because we're working with like Mother Nature.
We don't have like a ton of locations. I think it's just down to about 3. I mean, I guess it depends how many. Like, 'cause we have a rapid section we're getting the film on.
Right.
We need to film
Yeah.
on some calm section of the river.
Yeah.
To make it, and then we also have a campfire scene and
underwater scene.
Underwater scene, and that might take place in a pool, which
Yeah.
will be fun. We'll
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
get some behind the scenes stuff of that. And then I think just a couple shots in a vehicle going to.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot of locations, but I mean, it's broken up enough to where we can do like 4 hours shoot here,
Exactly.
4 hours
Right.
shoot there. We may not have to film the entire day of like 5-day shoot, which is intense. If
Very.
we break it up into like 8 days, maybe we want to film like for 4
Right.
hours like every day. That way we're not killing our actors or killing ourselves.
Exactly.
And it's obviously probably not going to be straight through either.
No.
We're going to be kind of weekended,
Yeah. We have time. We have all summer. It has to be, like I said, filmed, completed by September.
Yeah.
Hopefully we finish filming at least a month before that.
Right, exactly. But something on a scale like this, it takes a lot more planning and a lot more preparation than kind of what we've done
We said
before.
October 4th.
Is when it's premieres.
Okay.
So it has to be
And then-
due. It's due by like September.
And then a
8th.
couple days later, what movie comes out? You guys know?
I don't know.
October? Yeah. Steve Jobs movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
If you guys, we talked like a couple episodes ago. More than a couple,
something,
probably
yeah.
like
105, 106.
Yeah, like 106 or something like that. We talked about how me and Axel were extras in the new Steve Jobs film. Well, there's a little teaser trailer that was just released, and we don't see ourselves in it,
No.
but we see the venue in which we're in.
Yeah.
There is a shot of Steve Jobs, Fassbender, sitting on stage, and from behind him you see this empty venue, and that empty venue is the one that we were in.
The War Memorial Auditorium in San Francisco.
Exactly.
Historic theater there.
Later in the teaser trailer, there is a huge crowd of people.
Yeah.
That's in a different venue. We were looking for ourselves and we realized, oh, this is a different venue.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple different...
They filmed a few different locations.
Yeah, exactly.
But
kind of exciting because we got to see a little bit of a glimpse of we might be in that film.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
And it's fun to be around a big set like that.
We can link the teaser trailer below.
Yeah.
You can see the...
Seth's job, right?
Yeah, Seth.
Our job. We seen any good movies lately? We
did.
Did we?
Job.
I think we did.
We already
we
talked
watched.
about Mad Max.
We did. We talked about
We've
Mad
already
Max
talked
last
about
time.
that.
We talked about
Avengers.
We did.
We talked about Avengers. Okay.
We talked
Now
about
this week-
Insurgent.
That was,
Divergent.
No,
Divergent.
Divergent. Insurgent.
Whatever.
Detergent.
We should seriously watch Insurgent.
Yeah, we should.
And
actually.
then, let's reel it back. Anyway, what movie did we watch?
Ex Machina.
Machina.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
For those of you who haven't
Directed
heard it,
by
I haven't heard
Alex
it. Garland.
Garland. I think this is his first
Directorial debut.
Yeah.
Writer
He-
and director.
I love
He
that.
he wrote 28 Days Later,
28 Weeks Later. He wrote 3 novels before I think he got into screenwriting, which is really interesting.
really?
Yeah, he was a
Wasn't-
novelist.
Wasn't he? I remember him. I think he was supposed to write Halo, the original, the movie. Remember when the Halo project was kind of they were throwing that around? I think Alex Garland wrote it or helped write it, and then what's his name that did District 9 was going to direct it. I think Alex Garland had his hand in that too. But this is apparently his first feature or directorial debut. And it's a pretty interesting film. Spoiler alert ahead of time.
Yeah.
as we
We're gonna
talk about
spoil
it.
the
We're gonna go.
mother-
We're gonna start breaking.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back and watch the rest of this podcast. But Ex Machina, what do we have to say about
Well,
that?
first of all,
a
it-
little bit of an overview.
Overview. Boom. Okay, so we've got AI, artificial intelligence. Okay, this idea has been tackled many different ways, almost to the point where it's cliche, where intelligence becomes conscious. Okay, now
Self-aware.
Let's give them a little idea of the film first.
Okay.
You have this one individual, young 20-year-old. I forget the actor's name.
he's a coder.
He's a coder. He wins this competition.
Domhnall Gleeson.
Domhnall Gleeson. He's gonna be in the Star Wars, the new Star Wars. But
Both of them?
I think the first one.
So is Oscar Isaac.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Oscar Isaac's in this too.
Yeah.
And he's a badass.
So we have Gleason. He is
He's basically
a coder, and he wins a competition to where he gets to spend a week with this really, really famous coding prodigy since he was a kid.
His employer.
His employer, which is basically like a Google.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
like a
and his
what
name
they
is
call
Nathan,
a blue book.
I believe.
Yeah, his name's Nathan.
His name
and
is
he's the equivalent of like a Steve Jobs, like a
Right.
Zuckerberg. He's this big.
Right, but he's also
internet
a
guy.
recluse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's a
they
genius.
fly him to Nathan's house, which is in the middle of nowhere. We don't know really where it
In
is.
the
He gets
mountains.
helicoptered in, and he's in this really modern, cool-looking house.
Futuristic.
home.
Yeah.
And basically, Nathan explains to Gleason that his job is to find out, or to administer this test called the
Turing Test.
The Turing Test.
Alan Turing from the
Right.
for the robot.
And tell him what the Turing Test is.
I don't really know. The Turing test is something where it's like
You're basically testing to see if this robot has consciousness.
Yeah.
Or if they can
If the
fake
computer-
if they can fake you into believing that they are a real person.
yeah.
No, it's not. It's not about faking it.
Not faking
it's
it,
about
but
like
to convince you that that could be a real person.
Well, that's the thing is like you don't know if the robot has been programmed to act like he's real and to pretend and try and convince him. It's really trying to figure out if he's got that self-aware, that consciousness,
It's actually conscious.
Right.
Yes. And
which is difficult. They kind of explain in the movie. It's like how do you define? Let's say you're playing a chess game, and let's say, okay, let me think. How do they word it in the movie?
I think it's
Like a
it's
chess-
not it's
chess
not that
computer
the
game?
computer is playing chess, but he has to be aware that he's actually playing a game.
yeah, well, he has to
Within-
know
but how do you-
what chess is.
But
Exactly.
how do you explain that within the chess realm?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
so
he
how
was
do you
saying-
get outside the mind?
Right.
So I mean, it's very complicated.
Yeah, but basically, and then like so Oscar Isaac, he's like the recluse genius kind of billionaire guy living in this crazy high tech lab house mansion thing in the mountains, and the kid comes and visits with him for a week, and basically Oscar Isaac created this robot called Ava, who's an artificial intelligence thing, and so this kid is supposed to spend a week and administer the test every day, once a day, and then come back and report like how he thinks she's doing, if she's conscious. And like as the tests go on, she becomes more and more like definitely aware. But then it's kind of tricky because she's starting to kind of play with him and be like, don't trust Nathan, my creator.
Yeah.
Don't trust
and
him.
She's also like kind of really, really like him, like as like not just as a person, but like she like sexually likes him, you know.
Yeah, she's like
as,
attracted to him too.
Attracted to him,
and then it kind of flips because then Oscar Isaac finds out and he's like, oh, she's been playing you. Like, is she programmed that way? So it's that whole weird kind of like
But she's kind of hot though, so
so it's kind of
and our main character kind of likes her. Kind of likes her too, sexy robot. And we're just trying to be like, no, dude, she's just circuits and wires and lights and stuff.
Wires, man.
But he's
but
just
she's
like,
also like so human, you know, like she's so human.
well, it makes kind of, I think just pause for 1 second. Like the film kind of almost brings about this whole like idea of like, well, if this robot's not human because it's got all these wires and circuits, but like, what does that really make us? Like, aren't we just the same thing? Aren't we just a bunch of neurons, you know?
And circuits and wires.
Circuits and wires, but like, you know, obviously physiologically, but with just a face on us. Like, aren't we just, our brains are just computers basically, very highly advanced and sophisticated computers, but it's kind of almost the same thing. So it kind of, I think that was interesting, kind of brought about that question. Yeah. And later in the film, our main character, he almost like doubts that himself. Like, am I a robot? And am I am I a robot?
That's what he wants to be doing.
He like cuts himself open and like, I don't think I am. But he's thinking about that, and that kind of makes like, I think that's kind of what it was doing without saying it was, is what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to have artificial intelligence? What is intelligence anyway? What is consciousness?
Because then he finds out that basically Ava's not the first AI. There's been prototypes up to her. And so he asked the question, well, what happens to the old ones? And Nathan, Oscar Isaac's character, is just like, I terminate them. Or I reprogram them, which like erases their memory. It's almost like killing them, you know? You kind of use and so he's like, well, I don't want her to die. Like, he's been having this kind of interaction with her. He's kind of grown to like her. He was in
relationship.
Yeah, robot. Got that robot. And so he is trying to kind of like save her, you know? So then it becomes like, well, it's that question of, well, what makes her any different? Oh, no, she asked that question, doesn't she? She's like, what happens to me if I don't pass the test or something? Is he gonna switch me off? Is he gonna like kill me? And he's like, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Yeah. So she's like aware of death.
Yeah.
Or the end.
So throughout this whole film, Ava is basically trapped in this cage, this glass box, glass case of emotion. Anyway, so there's that relationship between our main character and Ava, but then there's also this relationship with our main character's name was again Nathan and Oscar Isaac.
No, Oscar Isaac is Nathan. He's Caleb.
Sorry, Caleb.
Nathan.
And Oscar Isaac is Nathan. So there's an interesting relationship between them two because Oscar Isaac is this alcoholic. He gets wasted like every night, but he's this genius, and he has these small little bits of anger that just kind of comes out of nowhere too. So you definitely, and as the film goes on, he's got these secrets as well that he kind of keeps, that our main character finds out about Nathan, which is, only adds a little spice, a little tension to the.
What do we like about this film? What do you think it did well?
I mean, it took a concept that's been done a lot of times, like Mark said, and really put, I think, an original spin on it.
Yeah.
It was one of the most original sci-fi movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm one of my favorites, too. It's funny, we mentioned it's a directorial debut for a writer. Like, in the past 2 years, my two favorite films of the year, my favorite film from last year was Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Directorial debut.
Yeah.
And this film, so far, is my favorite film this year, directorial debut. It's kind of interesting. It's like, there's some new players hopefully coming about.
What I really liked about it was the minimalistic approach to it.
Yeah.
They basically had like one main location, which was in this house.
Yeah.
They had like
Three
two characters.
Three
more or
characters.
less. Three
one
characters.
Might not even be
one
human.
doesn't even talk.
Yeah.
So I would say actually 3 characters. You're right. About 3 characters.
And then
you
there's
could say
the
4.
Asian robot.
I would say about 3 characters. So very, very minimalistic, and taking this concept that it's been played out. And to make it totally original.
Usually it's been on this large scale, like Terminator.
Exactly.
But they just took that idea and just boom into a small futuristic
house. You know what I think
house.
it was is that I think they had a small budget. I think it was like only
15 million.
15 million, that's very, very limited budget. And I think it's just awesome what you can do with a $15 million budget. It's better than freaking Avengers. I like Ex Machina more than Avengers.
Dude, it's more memorable.
And
they got some good actors, dude.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac is a great actor, man.
He's
He's
the best right now.
They just
good
sat
actor,
down and they grabbed this script and they added tension in every scene and they added character goals in every scene, and it's just it just seems very minimalistic, but at the same time just so tight. You know,
Yeah.
just so
There was a
tight.
few things that I kind of want to talk about that I noticed about this film, artistically, like the fact that the actual talking about like setting, right? The setting of the film takes place in this really high tech, futuristic, advanced compound in the middle of
It's probably like half the
nature,
budget too.
right? It's in the middle of the mountains. It's in the middle of nature that's been around for thousands of years. Same thing with humans. So in this compound, same thing are these two humans who have been around for thousands of years with this one like high tech advanced piece of machinery. So it's almost like the setting itself plays a huge part in the kind of like the meaning of the film itself. So then there's these two, and then there was something. So I thought that was really interesting. It was like this play between like nature and like evolution and like kind of letting it take its course, but then kind of buried underneath this nature was this like really high tech advanced technology. Then there was also every time you saw Ava when she was like a robot and she was talking, there was a lot of glass in the film, a lot of glass reflections and a lot of reflections and mirrors and stuff like that. And she was always kind of, you would see her and then you would see her reflection in the mirror, but it was always around the corner, so she was half cut off.
Right.
In the beginning. So you always saw her and then next to her half of her reflection, one half. And then at the end of the movie, she's kind of a fully there's like this kind of composite like skin material that they have, and she gets that on her. And then she's fully revealed and she's in like her kind of human looking form body, and she's fully revealed in reflection when she's looking at herself in all these kind of like mirrors. I thought that was really interesting. It's like she finally fully came into her self when she was like this human character. And then should we just talk about the ending real quick?
Yeah.
Spoiler, go away. I mean we
already mentioned it.
Already spoiled.
The ending kind of implied to me, well, it also kind of plays with you because you're like, well, could that actually be happening now? Basically, this artificial intelligence kind of escapes and is now in the world. And she's indistinguishable, really, from...
After she kills her
She
creator.
plays Caleb like a damn fiddle. She was pretending the whole time, I think.
Exactly.
I think so, too. See, that's what was interesting, is like, he was trying to sort of help her.
Well, because Nathan warns Caleb that, she's playing you. She's just playing you. And he's like, he doesn't believe her. He's like, Ava really wants to get out. She really wants to be with me, and Caleb's having these dreams with being with her on the outside. And like he believes that Ava's like almost like this close to being as human as possible, and he's not really connected with anyone, and he's just super attracted to her.
Right.
And he's like, I can be with this person, and then Nathan's warning him like, hey, she's fooling you, and you think that she's gonna go and put her skin on and like, okay, let's go outside and end it, and then she's like, nope, you're staying here.
She leaves him.
She leaves
He's
him.
trapped in one of the rooms, and he's sitting there banging on
She
the
doesn't even
door.
look over.
No.
She does it at the very last second.
Oh, the last
door's
second.
closing and she kind of looks over at him like
Yeah.
she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
Which is really like sinister. And then she
Ruthless.
And I
she's
think that might be because I was going through a lot of comments and people either really liked it or just hated it, like waste of time.
Really?
I really liked it. It was a waste of time.
Well, why would they hate it? I wonder.
Well, what I was thinking is that I think people that got the part where saying that she is becoming, if they see her as a real person at the very end, they liked it. Like, yeah, she's got out of there, I can see her as a real person. But people that see her still as a robot, like she's just she killed this person, she got that person locked up. I think people that see her as still a robot and not coming into a woman or a person, then they just almost feel cheated.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, maybe they didn't understand the part where Isaac is saying, or Oscar Isaac is saying that she had to use her beauty, her consciousness, her intelligence, her sexuality, everything against you, basically, to manipulate you, and the fact that to escape.
Right.
That was her goal, is to escape,
That's right.
and the fact that she was able to do all that basically affirms that she has a consciousness.
That makes us human, right?
No, but then there's
I didn't check that more.
no, and then but then also it plays like Mark kind of said earlier. They kill she kills Nathan. Her and this other kind of like Asian robot who you're not sure is a robot or not, but you kind of assume is probably a robot. But kills Nathan. So then there's that whole thing of like it's that kind of thing of like God creating, but then they killed him.
Yeah,
so it's like his own
exactly.
creation, the creation killing the creator, or like taking over.
Right. And like it seemed like
whatever that
Nathan had total control over
the situation.
The Asian robot.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden she just has a knife.
So then she
kind
has
of
a conscience.
So it's almost saying that she has a consciousness.
Well, because remember, what's her name? Like whispers in her ear right before he comes out. Remember when she escapes and she's in the hallway and they kind of meet each other and she's sort of like touching her and then she kind of like whispers in her ear or something. And then they both kind of.
Oh, okay.
What I get from it is even though like Kyoko, but that was her name, but she wasn't. I don't think she could speak. So she wasn't programmed to speak. Like she's programmed almost to be like submissive, like his servant, basically.
Yeah.
Both probably like as a housemate and even like as an actual mate.
Yeah.
Kind of strange. But anyway, even though that was the case, you could tell she like just for her facial expressions, even though she's a robot, she's not happy. She's not satisfied.
Right.
She's very kind of. It's hard to read her, but I think all of the robots he created, because it showed kind of the past prototypes with the cameras and like all the bodies and stuff. They all had one thing in common to me, which is they wanted. Once they gain this consciousness, they want freedom.
Yeah, they want to escape.
And so did she. She's no different. And so maybe she wasn't quite as advanced as Ava was. But it doesn't mean she wasn't aware of herself and wanted to escape and wanted freedom. Because I think all like sentient beings kind of want that. They want this freedom. The idea of being controlled, even like us, being sentient humans, right? We desire freedom, power, control, not to be held back. And for someone or a being that's acquired their own consciousness, whether it be Ava, who's kind of a really advanced robot, or Kyoko, which is slightly less advanced, but still smart enough to know she's not free, right?
Right.
And so I think when Ava comes and says, let's go team up and kill our creator, she's probably down.
What I also found interesting is
Just like
is this Nathan character. He has so many character flaws.
Yeah.
But like he's still like the creator of these robots. You know,
Yeah.
he's still the creator, and it's like it sucks because he gets the short end of the knife at the end. Literally.
He's made out to be like such a bad guy. You are convinced he's just this evil creator, as the film is coming about. And I think towards the end of it, you realize I didn't think he was a bad guy at all. I think he was just kind of this creator who kind of.
But he also has like
He's very flawed.
They give him like a lot of like sprinkles of just like, oh man, he's got skeletons in his closet.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, I watched it
then
a second time with Corey because we watched it. You watched it first, then we watched it together, and then you watched it, and I watched it with you again. And looking back, when I watched it the first time, Oscar Isaac, the stuff he does seems very creepy and off-putting and uncomfortable. Like this guy, something's not right. But when you watch it again after the second time and realize what his main motivation is, I don't think he's a bad guy at all. I don't think he really did anything that was not altruistic.
One thing I'm not sure about, all those ladies in the closet that are like basically naked, are those like his past models, or is it some weird sexual thing he does with those?
No. I just assumed they were probably his.
Because it comes across as like some weird sexual.
Yeah.
Well, it does, but also I don't
Because they're like,
so. I mean,
I have an idea about
naked,
that.
and they're like, and also, he starts making out with the other girl. I think they just kind of, and it's also like his closet's like right in front of his bed too.
Well, maybe that's literally like a metaphorical thing, like skeletons in the closet.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like these kind of exoskeletons of
Yeah.
these robots, literally in his closet.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was anything kind of sexual.
But why do they all have to be naked?
Well, one of them
like,
was dressed up. I mean, one of them had a gown
Yeah.
on, but half of them also just had missing limbs and stuff, like in kind of exposed robot circuitry and stuff.
It'd be okay. The fact that they're in his room, they could obviously be in his workshop. He's. I don't know. It implies that there is something.
I mean, it implies he's probably
Sexual.
lonely.
Oh,
He's a
for
lonely
sure.
Yeah,
dude.
but it's almost more over the top to where it's not just lonely, and he's like, he likes to hang out with one robot.
Yeah.
Like he's got 5 naked women skeleton robots.
Don't
in the
we all
closet.
though?
Okay.
He answers this question himself in the film that we're asking right now is was it a sexual thing? Of course it was. Like he even says himself, like if you can create like artificial intelligence, one, like can you explain any intelligence in the universe so far that doesn't have a sexual dimension?
Yeah, like any
everything, like
motivation.
the goal of anything that thinks is to reproduce and to mate. So it's like, of course you're gonna have a sexual dimension to it. The main character asks, well, why did you make her a attractive girl? And he gives that answer, and he also says, well, and it's also fun, sexuality is fun. Why if you can do it, why wouldn't you? And so of course if he's gonna if he has the ability to create artificial intelligence, knowing him, of course he's gonna create an attractive woman because that's he probably did bang all of them. Yeah.
No, but
I
here's-
assume he did. I think it's
I mean,
implied he
yeah.
did.
Well,
Yeah.
he does. He also talks about it's like, oh, you can have sex with them. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Of course he did. It's like
But then there's this other thing that he said, going back a little bit to the question of, oh, like is he a bad guy or something? They're sitting up on that little kind of like balcony thing or whatever, and the cool thing about this was that the main character did, like Alex Garland, the writer, did a really good job of making the main character ask a lot of the questions that we as the audience would ask. He kept that pretty consistently, which a lot of films sometimes fail to do. Like they might be a good film, but sometimes they overlook these questions that the main character should be asking.
Yeah.
And he asked these questions, but one of them he asked, he goes like, I don't remember what the exact question was, but it was something like, you know, why did you create this artificial intelligence? Like, why did you? And he's like, it's not really a matter of why. He's like,
It was going to happen.
it was going to happen. He's like, artificial intelligence has been bound to happen for decades. Like we've already been in that step. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just a matter of when. He's like, I don't think it is some like decision that I did, some profound like, oh, I'm going to have to do this. He said it was just part of evolution. Like the next step for humankind was just
Well, he also talks about the
intelligence.
art as well. The art scene with the
Jackson Pollock.
Jackson Pollock.
Yeah.
He says there wasn't a reason for Jackson Pollock to go there. If he knew exactly why he was making this painting, he wouldn't be making the painting. It's the exploration process of it.
That's a good point too.
So maybe
yeah.
it's his point in saying that, like, okay, I'm not trying to make a robot or an artificial intelligence because of a specific reason. He's doing it in way of as an art and exploration, kind of discovering yourself. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think you're absolutely right. But going back, I mean, basically the point of that was like, oh, is he evil? Is he like this bad guy with creating everything? I kind of agree with Alex. I don't think so, because then at the end it has this kind of twist where you think, like he sits down. There's a scene where like the main character, Caleb, Donald Gleason's character, these power outages keep happening, and all the cameras kind of go out. And during these power outages, that's when him and Ava have this real kind of interaction where they know, or at least they think they're not being watched, right? And so, you know, Ava's like, you know, you gotta help me escape. And then the power comes back on, and then they kind of go back to like, oh yeah, no, and then I like art and stuff like that. But during one of these power outages, he's like, okay, I'm gonna help you escape. I'm gonna get him really drunk. I'm gonna jack his key card, open up all the security doors, and we're gonna get you out of here. And so he does that, and you think, oh man, he's gonna get away with it. But then Oscar Isaac's character sits him down and goes, I want to show you something. And he's like, shows him that he set up a camera that was battery powered that didn't go out during the power outages. And he kind of sits there. And so like the main character, you think, oh dude, he's gonna like kill this guy now. He's like, oh, you were trying to pull one over on me. Like I have the upper hand now. But he sits down and he goes, man, you did it. Like literally, that was kind of what I was expecting of the test. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, because basically she's a rat in a maze.
Yeah.
And she's trying to escape this maze. This house is the maze. And what she had to do was use her, like what one of you said, her sexuality, her charm, her intelligence, her whatever it was, to try and seduce you to help her escape.
Yeah.
And you did. And so he's like excited. He's like, you passed it.
Yeah.
that proves she's human.
That proves that she's got.
And he's
But
like,
she didn't escape though.
Yeah, what?
She didn't escape yet. So
She didn't escape at that point, but
Yeah.
she
but
had,
the fact that he was trying to help
That
her
he was trying to
escape,
help her.
that's the
Right.
and so that's
affirmation
he's
of
like,
it.
see, like she was using you, man. Like,
And then he goes on to explain later. He's just like, it's okay. You feel stupid right now, but it's okay.
Yeah, he's like-
that kind of is like a human personality. to it.
Yeah.
He's not just like
this bad guy.
he's just not just mad. He's just like, it's okay. I mean,
I
that's
think
the
it
reason
also
why you're here.
goes back to either believing this robot is a human being or believing this robot is a robot. And
Yeah.
I feel like Oscar Isaac, from the very beginning, you know, he creates this from scratch, you know, like from parts and mechanics and all this stuff, and he creates this robot. So he 100% sees this robot as a robot, not as a person.
Yeah.
And I think that's very different from Caleb. Caleb comes in at the very end, sees this final product,
Yeah.
and he's just like, that's like a human being. You know, that's a
good
human
point.
being. And I feel like we either, as an audience member, identify with Nathan, and you say like, this guy's she's a robot.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
robot to the very end. She's still a robot, and get this guy. He kills this guy and locks this other guy up. He probably dies of starvation. You know,
Yeah, or something.
And or you identify with Caleb, you know, and you're like, oh, this person's this robot is a real person. And I think people feel cheated if you see that she escapes at the end, or you know, something like that. I
I was kind of excited when I found out that that's how it was going to end.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dude, like, I was glad it kind of ended that way.
Me too.
People get really upset with unconventional endings. They kind of want little bow tie kind of. Maybe he would have gotten with her, and they would have.
Yeah.
Because in the film they talk about maybe going to like a street corner, like into traffic, and going on a date. And he's like, "Will you go on a date with me?" She's asking him, and he's like, "Yeah, of course I'll take you on a date." And she puts on this dress.
But it's it's a double twist.
It's a double twist.
The cool thing is like, Caleb and Ava got one over on Nathan.
Yeah.
Right? But then, and you think they're going to get out, and then all of a sudden Ava gets one over freaking Caleb, and technically is exactly what Nathan told Caleb was going to happen.
So then that kind of undermines what you think Nathan is the whole time.
Exactly.
You think he's a bad guy,
but now he probably really wasn't. Good. So it's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Then it plays on that philosophy of like, okay, well now it kind of leaves it open because also she looks like a human. Like she looks like a human girl. It's that actress. I think it was the actress from Mystic River, the daughter.
Yeah, I think he's right.
She gets killed. I don't know
her
her
name. Alicia Vistic, or I forget what it is.
Christina.
No.
I don't know her name. The archives are blank.
Yeah.
But she's in this dress and she's really pretty and she leaves. And she just leaves and goes into society, into traffic, like she said she was going to on a, like not literally in traffic, but amongst people. She's amongst like
people. She's curious.
She's curious, and then she's just one of them now.
The greatest part about that movie, I think we only have a few minutes left. To me, it was I always go back to the characters, how they're most important part of the film. It's the the common basic knowledge I think that you have to understand film with. But the three main characters in the film all had incredible agency and goals. Like they all had their own goals. Oscar Isaac, Nathan, he desperately wanted to create this artificial intelligence. That was his goal, is to create be the first person to create artificial intelligence on that kind of level.
Like legitimate AI.
And prove that it was just that. Caleb, our main character, his goal is, first he doesn't know what really is going on, but eventually he wants to save this. He wants to even to thwart his superior, his employer, right? To save this robot from termination. That's his goal, a great goal, and he goes out of his way to do that, more farther than he should to do that. Then you have our non-human
causes
character.
His downfall.
Non-human character, Ava, who's not even a real person, and yet she still has incredible agency. She goes past both of these guys to get her freedom, because that's her goal. And you have all these conflicting goals. They're all conflicting with each other, and it kind of spells out at the end. I guess our two human characters fail in their goals. Right. Ava's the one that actually escapes and gets away and accomplishes her goal.
Which I'm sure probably has some sort of commentary on that, like the fact that like the creators, these humans,
are left in the dust.
They're in the dust, which is exactly what's his name said earlier. Oscar Isaac. He goes, I'm sure these artificial intelligence are going to look back on us the way we look back on the fossils. And the dinosaurs in like the African desert, these fossils, like primitive, poor tools, kind of unintelligent, intelligent enough to create these creatures.
And it's cool how that's like really subtly placed,
Yeah.
And then once you think about it, like you just brought it up, I totally forgot about it, but it's like it's so perfect.
Yeah, because then that's what happens.
Because that's the start.
She survives. Like it's literally like the rise of
origin story.
And then that's where Terminator starts.
And then
what do you think of
it's the prequel to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
It kind of it feels like. Could you imagine a sequel called Deus Ex Machina?
Where
someone goes out and tries to find.
Deus Ex Machina.
Ava.
Yeah,
it's like Blade Runner. You're going out here looking for this robot.
The movie starts with
all these
with
people.
them going through like the crime, like the old house.
Yeah.
And it's all like taped off like a crime scene.
They're watching all the footage.
And then he turns around in a trench coat.
And it's
Gary
Deckard.
Blade Runner. They're making.
Okay. What do you guys think of the acting, real quick? Because I feel like Oscar Isaac was baller. I feel like Ava was baller. Caleb was awkward. I felt like
you know what?
I think he was
supposed to be awkward. I think he was.
I think he played his role
supposed to be awkward.
I really did. I think he played his role.
Yeah, he played his role. I mean, he's one of these geek kind of guys. One more thing, real quick. He also didn't have any family. That when they mentioned that, he has no parents, he has no brothers and siblings, and he's just this kind of lonely MIT guy. It kind of justifies.
Yeah.
If he did get killed off, it's not like he's leaving anyone behind, because that's kind of who you get attached to, the people that he's leaving behind, but he didn't have anybody,
right?
Which is kind of interesting. But he's like the high kind of hacker guy, and she remembers that, and then like kind of leaves him in the dust because she's like,
yeah.
But No, they were all tremendous actors.
Yeah.
I thought he was fine.
Yeah,
I thought he did really good.
I had a feeling in a lot of scenes that I could really see through his acting, and it just didn't feel real to me. That's just me.
I thought it was the first.
Yeah.
There was like
The first
one
couple-
session. There was like one or two first sessions. And it seems like he was projecting a little bit
he was
in this weird
projecting
way.
too
But I
awkwardness.
think it was because it was almost like he was talking to a child.
Yeah.
Because it was he was like, well, what do you think about this? And maybe it was meant to be like that. He saw this. He knew it was a robot, so it was just like, maybe this is almost like something beneath me, like a child.
Yeah,
and that's the way he kind of talked to him. But then it did change.
Yeah.
It completely changed.
Yeah,
so
he got better. By the
maybe
end,
that's,
he was a lot more.
But maybe it was
serious.
just a little over the top on
Yeah,
the first
I agree.
scene.
I humbly disagree. I think it was spot on.
I think
that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think he was
We
a fine
can
actor. I
agree
think
to disagree, but he was a actor.
Are we done?
All right, I think we're done.
I think we're done. Go watch it.
Go watch it. Go
It's
watch
a
it.
great movie.
It's a
my
really
favorite movie of the year.
I recommend it. And that's about it.
And scene.
No, wait. Tune in next time for episode number
12.
12. All right, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Very good, gentlemen. That was a good one. I like
That was a good one.
Yeah. And because we all saw the movies, we all talk about it.